플랑크가 멋있다. 이게 조명 딱 받으셔가지고.
조명 딱 받아가지고.
그래서 꿀맛처럼
삐야 삐야 병아리 가다 사냥꾼 뒤뚱뒤뚱 오리.
What would you do if someone gave you the chance to rewind your life completely? The one caveat being that you remember everything and everyone from before. Would you be able to let go of life as you knew it? Would you want to? Such is the predicament of young Kim, the protagonist of my 8-episode comedy drama, Abort. Young is 38 years old. She's a mother and a wife, a pastor's wife, to be more specific. And she's happy. She loves her family more than anything. But there are some pretty big what-ifs that linger in Young's mind. What if she'd continued with her career in music? What if she hadn't gotten married and become a mom? Where would she be now? Young gets to answer all these questions and more when God grants her the chance to rewind to her 22-year-old self. When she arrives back in her past, Young kickstarts her career as an up-and-coming jazz pianist, just like she'd always dreamed. She explores a relationship she regretted leaving and buys more time with her mother before she passes away. Before long, though, Young must make a binding decision: stay in the past and chase her dreams, or travel back to the present to her husband and daughter who miss her dearly. In Young's world, concert halls double as portals of time travel. Up in heaven, God anxiously watches time pass in a structure made of blue cloth called the Temple of Time. And yes, in this story, there are things that are out of even God's control. Other people who populate Young's world include Felix, Young's pastor husband. He's loved her ever since they got married in their early 20s, but Felix went on to take certain holy vows while Young stayed an atheist. Young also has a 14-year-old daughter named Evvie, precocious, witty, and simmering with grief ever since she lost her best friend Mia to suicide. Finally, there's Journee Christ, God, but a woman. A brilliant engineer who keeps the world running. Journee's having a hard time connecting with or even understanding atheists. It's why she reached out to Young in the first place. Ultimately, Abort is a show that explores regret, religion, and the experience of being a woman and mother. Through Young's storyline, I challenge the expectation that mothers be like saints. My primary inspiration for Abort is my own mom. Seeing just how much of her time and labor was devoted to others propelled me to write this woman's story about time and regret. Abort is a reimagination of my mom's life if she had had all the time in the world to herself. This theme of time is also inspired by a prominent thinker in feminist economics named Betsy Warrior, who wrote extensively about women's ownership of time, or rather, lack thereof. Warrior writes, "In freeing others from the humdrum necessities of life, women have placed at the disposal of men and children leisure time." Young's life proves to be quite consistent with Warrior's writings. Abort functions as a commentary on the discrepancy in time available to men versus women. While Felix gets to live his dream building a church community from the ground up, Young spends all of her time helping Felix do so and caring for their family. As pastor's wife, Young does have an informal job that takes her outside of the home, but that job has no official title and is unpaid. Both inside and outside her home, Young fulfills the duties of a wife. The question that I pose in response to Warrior's writing is, will Young need to travel back into her past to reclaim her life? Or will she somehow avoid being consumed by the time that she spends on others in the present? Abort also takes inspiration from the discipline of feminist theology, and specifically, a theologian named Carol P. Christ, one of the foremothers of the goddess movement, which emerged in the 70s as a reaction against the male-dominated ideas in religion. Christ's most famous publication is an essay called "Why Women Need the Goddess." In it, she declares, "Because religion has such a compelling hold on the deep psyches of so many people, feminists cannot afford to leave it in the hands of the fathers. Religion fulfills deep psychic needs by providing symbols and rituals that enable people to cope with crisis situations in human life and to pass through life's important transitions. The symbols associated with these important rituals cannot fail to affect the deep or unconscious structures of the mind of even a person who has rejected these symbolisms on a conscious level. The reason for the continuing effects of religious symbols is that the mind abhors a vacuum. Symbol systems cannot simply be rejected, they must be replaced." Carol P. Christ's essay provides the rationale behind my own decision to challenge traditional ideas of who God is. The series portrays Young in all of her complexities, frustrations, and desires. It captures all the messy details that exist outside of her prescribed roles as wife and mother. Of course, Young's time travel doesn't quite go to plan, but this is a story of reclamation. As Young learns to reclaim her time and her identity, Abort prompts the audience to ask, what does it mean to love? And what does it mean to start anew?